That's what we do as the Sound Guys.
The Soundguys.
The Soundguys. Oh my god, text
The Soundguys podcast.com. What was I say? 53 miles ahead? Oh, the next rest area. The Soundguys podcast.com. We should get a jingle.
We should get a jingle. We should make a commercial.
It's like, don't be a turn that frown upside down, clown. Have you heard of the Soundguys, clown? That's dumb. I think of something else.
Yeah, that's.
How
we
about
should spend some time working on that idea, actually.
How about do you have a bowel movement problem?
A bowel movement problem?
Let the Soundguys blow it out for you. No, that's not.
I don't think so.
Well, how about does the stock market have you down?
Does the stock market have you down?
How about have the Soundguys turn it around?
Well, that would be impressive. I think a lot of people would love that if we could turn the stock market around on a dime.
We can. Just invest in GameStop.
Shh, don't tell everybody. Shh. Secret.
Oh, I need to check GameStop too. If it went below $130 today, then it's done.
Oh. Well, should we hit it?
What? Oh, we're doing a show?
We should hit it.
Oh my goodness.
Here we go.
That said duck blinds, all purposes, all sizes, made to order, but no prices.
Well, that's not
How much?
Whenever someone does that, I'm always a little concerned, just because. Where's the range?
I know. Like if you don't know even what the baseline is.
Like, what's your starting cost? It should be at least if you're going to be making something. Exactly.
Yeah.
That way there's an idea.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a piece of crap. Or, okay, this could be quality. This
duck
could
blinds,
be quality.
starting $13.99.
What is that?
$1,399.
What's a duck blind?
I think it's a hunting thing. Haven't you heard about that duck joke?
No.
Well, yeah. So it was this guy who was out there and he was hunting for ducks. And he was, I guess, from the city or whatever, and he shot a duck. He was behind a duck blind. A duck blind is the thing that looks like the field, but it's a place that you can hide behind. It's like see all that tall grass over there? That could be a duck blind. And so he shot the duck anyways, and duck hits the ground, and it falls into a guy's yard, and he walks over there to him. He says, "Hey man, that's my duck." And the farmer said, "No, that's my duck now." And the guy's like, "No, it's not. I shot the duck." He goes, "Yeah." The farmer's like, "Well, it doesn't matter. Hit my roof, it's in my yard. It's my duck now." And like, listen, I don't know how I was to say it. I mean, like, what? Like, can I just have my duck now? The farmer said, "Well, I guess we're going to sell this farm style, and we'll figure it out." And the hunter's like, "Farm style?" And the farmer's like, "Yeah, well, that's why we kick each other in the nuts continuously, right in the groin, until one of us gives up." And
wait, what?
yeah, that's farm style. You settle something farm style when you kick each other in the groin.
See, I always thought farm style meant you get on two tractors and play chicken.
That's a different type of farm style. And in some redneck farms, you can actually do lawnmowers, riding lawnmowers.
See, that kind of feels a little loose.
What?
Playing chicken with lawnmowers and
No, riding
tractors.
lawnmowers. They're all set up. I mean, they're souped up riding lawnmowers. I almost remind me when I finished this story to tell you about my riding lawnmower experience when I almost got ran over.
Oh,
Yeah. Anyways, so finally they settle on it, and Farmer says, I'll go first. Farmer goes first, winds up, kicks the hunter in the nuts.
Ouch.
The hunter just falls on the ground. Just writhing in pain. Oh, it was bad news. Writhing in pain for about 35 minutes, 40 minutes. Finally gets up. He's like, looks at the farmer and he goes, well, I guess it's my turn now. And the farmer just looks at him and says, you can have the duck.
Nice.
It's funny, right?
I think the farmer won.
Farmer won. No, the riding lawnmower, I was like, I don't know, 19, 20 years old. And at the time I was dating this Hispanic girl. Her name was Lupe, of course, right? Go figure. Guadalupe Bejargan. She's hearing it, whatever. That's fine. We were okay. She was cute. Honestly, I think the reason why it didn't work out between us was a lot of reasons. But
here's the reason why. There's too many reasons to
But
list.
the main thing was that we were both really A-type.
Okay.
And
I can see that.
and so that
doesn't work well.
It didn't jive. But I remember there are a lot of things I took home from her from like hanging out with her. And I remember breakfast. She made me breakfast once, and it was really sweet. It was Eggos. I don't know, so just simple things you remember, right? It was Eggos and peanut butter. And I was like, that's really delicious. I've never had that before. I was young, whatever. We're young kids, blah, blah, blah. Fine. So anywho, we're at a party, and those are endearing moments. Every girlfriend, every relationship has bad and good moments. I try to remember all the good moments because honestly, I think most of the people remember the bad moments.
It's true.
I'm sure I can remember some of the bad things if I really tried hard, but I try to remember people in the best, in the funnest of light. And if people are like, well, why don't you hang out with that person anymore? I'm like, I just know that we don't hang out because something didn't work. And so it's almost like, because I saw her at a wedding. We were doing a wedding for Danielle, and I saw her again. It had been the first time I'd seen her since we broke up. That had been probably like 10 years. And I wasn't married yet, but she was married. She has like 20 kids. I don't know.
That's a lot of kids. That's a lot.
But she was like, I was like, oh, and we hit it off well. We were having a good conversation. It was a good. At least to me, it felt like it was. It was a mutual, just common decency. It was a good exchange. Hi, how are you? We had a conversation, and whatever. But then she got really possessive of because I was playing music there, just helping out Danielle with sound, and she got really possessive of the playlist. And I was like, okay, some of this is coming back to me. Some of this is coming back to me as to why this didn't work. Okay, that's good. That's really good. And that's a great thing because I had forgotten all of that. And so when people ask me oh my goodness, my ears.
Oh man.
You all right, buddy?
I'm good.
Man. Like the well, I'm not going to name the names, but some people we talked about past.
People that we know.
Oh, we don't hang out with them. We don't. Why? Well, for me, some of these people so far long ago, I'm like, I really actually don't know why we don't. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why we don't, but I just know we do. So.
Is this you personally, or
me personally? Yeah.
I'm not involved with that.
No. So
I'm one of the cool people.
You're one of the cool people.
I still get to hang out.
So when it comes to ex-girlfriends, that's that situation there. So I was dating Guadalupe Bejargan. I can't even say her name. And we were at this party, and we were doing what's called the lawn tractor drag races.
Lawn tractor drag races.
Lawn tractor drag races.
Lawn tractor drag races.
And these were souped up riding lawnmowers. And we're going to town, right? So I don't know what it was, but see, this was prior to my back surgery. People don't really know about. I'm a medical wonder. It's amazing. I had like surgery when I was 19 or 8. Like I had some weird cancer in my back. It was nuts. But we live and get loves. Live, learn, and get loves. But I can't. This part I can't remember if I was either just coming off surgery or if I was going to surgery. I forget, but there was some reason why I needed to be careful.
Okay.
And
you decided
yes,
enough was enough.
That's correct. And Lupe was very cognizant of this, and which was nice. I mean, she, very, very possessive, very caring. All these really great things. Those can be endearing qualities. Those are good things. Anywho, so I'm on the lawn tractor, and we're going for the race. Everything's great. And this other guy, I forget his name was Derek, and he crashed. They're not bumper cars. They're fast riding lawnmowers, and he crashed into the side of my lawnmower. We're going like 20 miles an hour. We're not wearing any PPE, no helmets, no nothing.
Because that's dumb.
That's dumb.
Why would you dare wear any protective gear?
Yeah, why would you wear any?
You nerd.
No, yeah. Nerd. And then I go flying, and I land in some tires, because they had tires set up.
Okay.
And my lawn tractor is still going for the gusto, and it's just going. Someone else, I guess it either hits the tire. I remember it flipped over, and no one had the ready mind to go get it. And I guess the fuel leaked out of the top of the carburetor, like the thing, and it caught fire. I mean, whatever. This is backwoods, redneck stuff. But then Derek circles his lawn tractor, and he's coming. Now he's chasing me, like he thinks it's just this funny thing. And I'm running, but I'm still kind of limping. I'm like, oh, and whatever. And I'm running, and he's just on me, and I kind of dive out of the way, and he runs over my ankle, and it really hurts. I didn't break anything. It was oh my gosh, my ankle's now really sore. And then I'm trying to limp, and he comes for me again, and I see Lupe, hold my baby. She's running towards him, and she Superman clotheslines the guy.
On the lawnmower?
On the lawnmower.
Oh, nice.
Out of the lawnmower. And she's just wailing on him. Dude. Killing him. And I'm like, okay, I think I could have done this, but I didn't realize it needed to go. It didn't need to go this direction, but we went there, so you like to say, take the horse out of the barn, we're going to ride it. Derek's lawnmower goes and crashes into the fuel supply, because they had 3 or 4. It's all fire. 3 or 4 those 5-gallon gas tanks, just all in a row to fill up the tractors.
Oh.
And it crashes into that. And now gas is all over the place, and I don't know what happened, because it seemed like a long time. But since no one went around there because they were afraid of it, there was the ignition source, tractor's still running. I guess either friction or what, and that blows up. And it was nuts. So we took out, 2 tractors and all the fuel. And Derek was on the ground just dead. But he was okay. She beat the crap out of him. And she was like, "Hey, are you okay?" I'm like, I'm really okay. Wow, thank you. I don't know what to say.
My guardian angel.
It was different. It was different. Yeah. So that's Lupe. Great person. Really, it was good. It was really good. I liked it. So, I mean,
I don't know where to go from there with that. You basically just destroyed an entire farm, lit everything on fire.
Well, it was 2 lawn tractors and about probably 15 gallons of fuel. Yeah. That's all done.
It's a lot of money.
Well, yeah, probably.
On top of that, one guy is beaten to death.
Dude, his face was
you're going through bodily harm and damage.
But you remember it being fun.
Well, that's good.
I remember it.
That's good. I'm glad you had fun.
We all remembered it as, that was a fun time. That was fun, and we had a blast, and everyone left friends.
Did you, though?
That's the way I remember it. And that's okay, because we had fun. So, you know, you remember these people endearing, and you don't remember the bad, and that was the point. But I don't even. I mean, what started this memory? Oh, duck blinds. Yeah.
Yes.
Duck blinds. Yeah. I saw the duck blind sign, and that's the reason why people should put starting at on their prices.
It's very true. So they don't end up destroying everything in fire and destruction.
Well, yeah.
Tractors getting thrown across. Hey, a limo.
But where?
Over there.
What kind of limo?
Just a limo.
Oh, that's weird. A limo at a farm. That's never a good sign. Someone's buying the farm or someone's selling dope. Either way, a deal's...
It's a win-win.
Either way, a deal's being made. No, that's always saved my bacon, actually having an idea of how much something costs, but whatever. By the way, this is the soundguyspodcast.com. We didn't actually say hello. For those of you who have found us for the first time ever, we're so sorry. We didn't actually explain that. This is, we are the Sound Guys. I am Crispin Smith. This is Neighborhood Nick.
Hey.
We are the Sound Guys, podcast.com.
We do sound.
We do. We talk about politics, conspiracies, music, art, you know the whole thing.
And occasionally, we give sound advice.
Oh, you see what he did there? Occasionally give sound advice. If you haven't heard, the reason why we're on the road is because we're working again, kind of. And,
we had a random job that must be done. And it's been
what he said.
A long time on the road. Here's a picture of the road, ladies and gentlemen.
Look at that. We even got a camera on the road. How sweet is that? Is it still at 15 frames?
Yep.
Look at that. If you're watching on any YouTube or whatever, yeah, whatever. The USB doesn't have enough power to power that. So we figured we'd give you guys the full resolution of camera 1 and 2. And camera 3 can just, you know, stutter along.
It's something for you.
It's something. But, yeah, so we're doing this from the van, the Ford Transit, the 2021 Ford Transit, because we don't have time to sit down in the studio and actually make a show. So we figured we would do this, and if you guys like it, great. We're thinking about possibly doing a live show. We've been plugging it out for a couple weeks. That will happen. And be sure to subscribe and all that jazz for when it does, because then we'll just do the same thing, except we'll be just talking to you guys and answering all of your sound questions, looking for sound advice. But with that being said, today's show, we were talking about food offline.
It's true, we did.
Talking about the difference between these, and I'm really actually happy you brought that up, because I would like to put a poll to the people. What is their favorite type of onion ring?
Speed trap ahead.
Speed trap!
We're going 60.
It's a speed trap.
Is it, when you have an onion ring, like, because we just went to
Carl's Jr. Had some onion rings.
I had some onion rings.
Well, I didn't have any onion rings.
I had onion rings.
Crispin Smith had onion
And they just don't have the flavor that I was expecting. It just wasn't there. Now, Carl's Jr. does have, by far, the better of the barbecue sauces.
True, very true. I fully agree.
And Wendy's does as well. Wendy's is getting there. So those are two things to be looking for. But I was super disappointed with the onion rings, and they were too crumbly. And Nick brought up a really good point.
As I usually do.
As you usually do. Nick said that they were breaded. Right?
Yep. So the onion rings at Carl's Jr., from my observation, appear to be crumbly and breaded. Which, if you've ever had a breaded chicken tender or anything like that, you know they will be crumbles. They're going to kind of fall apart in your hand. And when that happens, there's a weird thing going on with the fryer and the breadedness, to where it's losing that sturdiness. It's losing the capability to hold things together.
Right. Yeah.
And you start losing flavor.
He couldn't have said it better. And that's exactly what I experienced. The whole disappointment in a ring was in my hands, and I was let down. I was expecting greatness, and in return I was given trash, slop, massive disappointment. And he shouldn't have taken his safety vest off until he was in the truck. Or was he putting it on? Okay, good enough, he's putting it on. Safety first, folks. When you're on the road, keep those vests on. High visibility, gotta see you. But no, really, it was just disappointing. And I realized, that I had not paid attention to how important the batter is. How important the finishing product is.
Batter makes a big difference.
And the beer
That's
batter,
like why fish and chips.
yeah.
Fish and chips, gotta have the proper beer batter.
Ugh.
If
Dude.
you don't, you got fish sticks.
I'm not. Yeah, right. I'm not trying to trash talk, and I'm not going to. But I will say that in the Noyo Harbor at Fort Bragg, I have yet to find a fish shack that delivers good fish and chips. There, I said it. So, if anyone wants to comment, prove me wrong, do some research, head down to Noyo Harbor, and you can pick any one of the establishments down there. Any one of the fine establishments. And I don't think you will be satisfied or happy. Names to go unmentioned. A lot of the stuff, the fish is too oily. It's like they're using bottom feeders or something. The beer batter is too sloppy. It's like they didn't leave it in the fryer long enough. The temperature wasn't high enough. The fish is either undercooked, over temp. It's either too sloppy, too sour. The batter's not crisp. I mean, like, there's just a comedy of errors. There's no one down in Noyo Harbor that can get it right. So I'm not attacking an individual business. I'm attacking the entire harbor. Okay?
The entire place has the worst fish and chips
It does.
in Northern
And there are
California.
like eight little shops down there.
And they can't seem to get it right.
They can't get it right. Now, however, crap, and I forget the place I wanted to give a shout out to. But it's out by the lighthouse, it's out by the pier in Crescent City.
Okay.
That place does fish and chips. Crescent City, California. On the money.
Okay.
And then if you want the best crab cakes in Northern California, Humboldt, you're going to go to the Eatery in Trinidad.
Trinidad.
Shout out to the Eatery in Trinidad. Let me know if I'm incorrect. I stand to be corrected. And then on the East Coast, again, another shout out to Big Sam's.
Big
West
Sam.
Virginia, not West Virginia. Sorry, that would actually be a huge. I'm embarrassed for you guys. I'm so sorry. It's Virginia Beach, not West Virginia. Ugh, they don't have. Yeah. That's another thing. I mean, I've heard that before. They go like, the motto for West Virginia is almost heaven. I think that's kind of an insult for heaven. Because if West Virginia is almost heaven, they're like,
It's just not quite there.
yeah, no wonder no one wants to be a Christian. Because like if that's what heaven is,
Is that really where you want to spend eternity?
I don't know, man. If this is almost heaven, and heaven's gonna be better than this, yeah. So a little bit too much pride there, West Virginia. Got to work on your teeth a little bit more. That's mean. I'm sorry. Actually, I jest. The only reason why I say that for my friends in Virginia. I'm sorry.
Man, you make it sound like West Virginia is like the UK when it comes to dental work.
Pretty much, yeah. It's amazing, like on the East Coast, like people really have close ties to regions. Like, oh yeah, like people are like with their alma maters with collegiate football and stuff. Like, oh yeah, it's like, oh, the Aggies versus the Longhorns. Oh man, Texas. Oh my goodness.
Oh, I thought you meant UC Davis Aggies.
No, sorry. Texas Aggies and Longhorns.
Gotcha.
Huge. Like, I mean, they will kill people over that.
Now, football's legit down south, especially.
Oh yeah, ducks and beavers. No, man. So, I mean, it's fair. I mean, people, I would hope that people that listen to our show would have enough common sense to realize, hey man, calm down. If this is your first time listening, I encourage you, before you have passed judgment, listen to a couple episodes so you get a chance to meet Crispin Smith and, Neighborhood Nick, and then you'll get an idea. But anyways, yeah, it's West Coast, Virginia Beach, East Coast, Big Sam's, shrimp and grits. You don't want to miss it. They do the grilled onions and the bell peppers and the big shrimp and the grits, and just all together in one big giant breakfast bowl. Get it with your black coffee.
However, I will say, from my personal experience, the best fish and chips I've ever had comes from the Black Country Museum in the UK.
Oh.
It's a history of coal mining in the UK, and they have beer battered fish and chips wrapped up in the newspaper, as it should be. And it is exquisite. It is the best fish and chips I've ever had, best malt vinegar that I've ever had on a fish. In DC, there's another place.
I was gonna say, if you're gonna talk worldwide, I was keeping it in the U.S.
Well,
because worldwide, have you been to Ireland?
I have not been to Ireland yet.
Yeah,
I want to. I plan to.
Let's talk about fish and chips in Ireland.
I'll have to get to that part. I said from my personal experience.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But there's also a pub in DC, right off of, pretty close to the Capitol Mall area, that also does an excellent fish and chips. They serve it in a basket, not a newspaper, so that's a point down. But still, the flavor is there.
Is it served in the Wall Street Journal?
No.
Fish and chips should be served in newspaper. You're absolutely right.
Should.
But there are health standards in America.
It's ridiculous.
And do you know what? As a restaurateur, remember when we were doing restaurant rehabs?
Yep.
Okay. You already know that there's no way public health is going to allow us to use newspaper as a way to as a serving item for a food to a customer. It has to pass certain standards.
It shouldn't.
Now, there is a company, but this is ridiculous. There's a company that makes 18 by 18 newsprint squares for food service. Same type of finishing and the wax finish as you would get on your checkered papers, your basket fillers.
Okay.
And they all have unique designs and they're like newspaper. But they're also like 4 times as much as your traditional checkered paper. Because, yeah. So it's like...
See, the reason though, the newspaper, what makes it so great is that the newspaper will actually absorb.
This is true.
The grease. The wax paper stuff in baskets does not absorb, and that is the reason why all fish and chips should be served in newspaper.
I agree.
Fight the health standards.
I agree. But that has been
throw them out the window.
Long-standing staple in America for public health on a federal level.
I know, it's stupid.
The only way you can mitigate that is like the one that does in Crescent City, and they put the paper towels that are food grade in the basket that help absorb the oil. But it's the aesthetic and the flavor, it's still all kind of lost.
Yeah.
So, no, I'm right there with you, man. But I mean, you got to take that to your congressman and get that. I mean, that with all the things going on in the world today, why not fight the fish and chips rule? Why not? I mean, with everything going on today, we should just basically be like, listen, as proper American citizens, we want to see our fish and chips mandated in newspaper.
Proper newspaper.
Proper newspaper.
Not slim like Sacramento Bee style newspaper.
Not even worth enough to swat a fly with.
Exactly. Something big.
Like the Wall Street Journal.
Wall Street Journal, New York Times, something thick.
Something. That's what she said.
But now, going back to the health food standard, I do have to say this. This is interesting.
Oh, yeah. Go on.
So, it's very strange when you go to different countries
Yeah.
and you see their different versions of health standards.
Wrapping banana leaves meat.
Yeah. So,
Kenya.
when I was in Taiwan, all right, the health standard is, well, not really there.
No.
It's not to the American standard by far. I mean, you got birds flying inside of restaurants. There's mice running around some of the shops because they're just like places out of a garage, usually. And so, however, the best food seems to come from these places, I find in my personal experience. In Cambodia, the best food, I think, by far, is just open air in a literal person's garage. Under the, like in Cambodia, they have houses built on stilts for floods and everything, and also just for cooling. It's in the shade. Best food, open air. You're standing in the dirt. It's amazing. I have a friend who lives in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and we went to Taiwan. We were there. Both of us were there for a semester at that time, and he freaked out because the health standard, the cleanliness factor, was not up to Brazilian level. And so he was so worried that he was going to get sick every time he ate out. Meanwhile, me, myself, and I, being from America, you know, we also have health regulations and standards. I worked at a restaurant. I had to go through food processing and food handler safety procedures and first in, first out, all that dumb stuff.
Right.
And I'm the kind of person that I want to go for the most authentic experience possible. Find me that hole-in-the-wall place that is just throwing everything else out the window and they're just focused on food.
Right.
That's all I want. I want good flavoring food. I don't care what it looks like. I don't really care what it's made out of. If it tastes good, I'm sold. And so I would take him to some of these places. And there was one spot we would always go to after class. And he would always go there and get the xiaolong bao, which is soup dumpling.
Okay.
It's a little soup dumpling served in a basket. And I would go and get what's called a fan tuan. And that's like imagine like a rice burrito with crispy bread inside.
Okay.
And pork floss.
Yeah.
Amazing. Tastes absolutely fantastic.
Okay.
He saw a mouse run across the rafters in the ceiling. It was the last time he ever ate there.
Aww.
I went there every week because it just was so amazing. And the people, the person that was working there, I don't know how she did it. She was the only one working there.
Yeah.
And she would do hundreds and hundreds of orders every day.
Probably had the mice helping.
Maybe.
Like Ratatouille.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, that was based on a true story.
Yeah, how else do you think the French would handle food?
I mean, seriously. That was based on a true story.
Maybe we need to hire the New York subway rats.
Well, they actually, then that story would be more like rat-a-tat-tat.
I don't know. They seem to have a fascination with pizza.
They do, but they...
and they take it. They probably make some good pizza.
I hope they do. I'm too afraid of them because they're like...
They're big.
No, they're not just big, but they're angry. They're like, they've been...
But isn't everyone in New York?
I guess so. Everyone's loud. It's just like being in like Massachusetts. We like things big, we're tough, yeah, Boston man, everyone's screaming. Everyone's screaming at you. Like literally everybody screams.
And you know, that's one aspect. And it's funny because I was having this conversation with some people from Sacramento. And we here in California, you know, we have a certain way of how we talk and discuss things.
Right.
And then you go to New York or Boston, and it's so aggressive, kind like a shouting match all the time.
Yeah.
And for someone from California, who I think feels very intimidated by that,
Yeah.
but also sees it as very rude and all this other stuff.
That's my wife.
Huh?
That's my wife. I have to explain to her, no, that's just how they are. She's
I mean,
ve-
you get that way sometimes too.
Well, yeah.
Sometimes you become a Bostonian.
People don't, yeah, it's just how people don't get, that's just, another way of culture, another way of just being. And, you have to kind of, there's a lot of, that's another thing that's kind of tough about the masks, because you lose
Sure.
a real element of people's facial inflections.
That's true.
Tone, eye movement, the way you scrunch your face, those are all body language. These are all things that help kind of convey this wealth of emotion and communication.
True.
It's not just spoken word.
Very true.
But I mean, that's a digression. But yeah, no, I agree with the hole in the wall. That's back when we were doing Yelp. Back when that was like apparently, I don't know, is Yelp still a thing? In
Yelp
terms of
is
like
still a
an app?
thing
Is it?
for food reviews,
They're still hanging in there, huh?
but it's kind of losing place to Google now.
Yeah, it should. Yelp.
Google reviews are taking over.
Yeah, Yelp used to be the thing, but I don't know. They're just kind of. But anywho, back when we thought it was the thing, before we went to like Waze and Google, you could set in the app. You could ask it, hey, what type of restaurants would you prefer? It asked you these questions, and then, do you want corporate, mainstream, or super safe, whatever. And like that, I really had admired the fact that it would say, hey, I want hole in the wall, dive, like these are the restaurants I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And I would always find that those type of restaurants, 9 times out of 10, delivered the best experience.
Yeah.
If it wasn't a super clicky place, because there were some places we walk in where they're just like, who are you?
Yeah, if you get that vibe where it's like you've never been here before, we don't like you,
Yeah.
then you just stay away. Stay away from that place.
If you walk in, it's like, hey, welcome, what's up? Because like that place back in our neighborhood, up in Siskiyou County, remember the ramen, the ramen place or the noodle place? Yeah.
Fun place.
And I was like, you wouldn't go there. Like, it's just kind of like, ugh, what is this?
Well, it's difficult. First off, it's in a very weird spot of town because you have to really be wanting to go to that section of town.
Yeah.
It's not like right off of Main Street,
Yeah.
even though it is off of Main Street. It doesn't feel like it's off of Main Street.
No.
But
It doesn't feel like it.
But it's like it was right next to the weirdest thrift store I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
But then you go inside and you look at it and you're like, okay, this is different. But then you eat the food.
And the food's amazing.
It was really good. And for being in the middle of Siskiyou County and in the mountains,
Oh, yeah.
I was not expecting quality pho by any means.
Delivered.
It was fantastic.
It delivered. But
the guy was super friendly too.
That's what I mean. When you showed up, you were like, oh, hey, this is a friendly place. Even though it looks like a dive, it's a friendly place. There has been places where I walk in and everyone looks at me and they're just like, ugh. And I'm just like, I'm not even going to try to make this work. I walk out.
Yep.
Because I'm just like, yeah, no, obviously I'm in the wrong place.
It's not meant for me.
Which is too bad. But I mean, if they feel like they're going to work that well and they're going to survive off of that way of doing things, then so be it.
There's one place, I can't remember where it's at, but there was the owner of the restaurant, I can't remember her name, but she would read the reviews. 98% of the reviews are great. But then there's some reviews where she would read them and they'd be like, oh, this place, like they messed up on my delivery, they showed up 5 minutes late, all the food was cold, like, what? I'm not going to order here again. And so the owner of the restaurant replied back and basically was like, yeah, we had the order. The delivery driver tried to call you twice because your door gate thing was locked and they couldn't get to your house. It was snowing, and he left the food on your front door porch, rang the doorbell. You never showed up. It's on dash cam, but we're sorry. And she does that to a lot of like the really bad negative reviews where it's like they're trying to just go after the restaurant.
Yeah.
And she just replies back with the real hard truth of the matter. And it's hilarious. It's amazing.
I agree with that.
Tell it as it is.
A lot of times it's amazing, at least for me. I mean, and I don't know how many people actually read them. I would hope people read the reviews. But it's like when you see someone's at like three stars, you're like, oh man, these people. But when you read a lot of the reviews, you're like, dude, all the irritated customers are essentially people that just didn't get, they weren't able to bend the company their way.
Yeah.
It wasn't about customer service. It wasn't about a bad product. It was basically just because they were upset that they couldn't get something that they thought they would get over on or get a good deal. It's like, oh, this person, wouldn't give me a break because my mom died. Well, okay, we're sorry your mom died, but really?
What was it? When I was actually working at a restaurant, I was the poor guy that had to take the phone orders, the front of house side of everything. And so there was one time, and I don't fully understand how this person came up with their solution. We were slammed.
Okay.
It was me and just one person in the kitchen.
Okay.
Saturday lunch rush. We got a lot of people. Phone orders are coming in, and I get an order, 2 steak sandwiches, order of fries, order of onion rings. I say, all right, I'll be about 20-25 minutes for a pickup. Okay, no problem. They show up about 35 minutes, grab the food, and then head back home, and I get a call 30 minutes later. And they said, hey, so we just want to let you know our food was freezing by the time we ate it. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. That's horrible. Well, if you want to come back, we could remake it for you. Well, no, we live 40 minutes away. And in my brain, I'm just thinking, wait, okay.
How did you expect the science of...
It's been almost an hour, and you picked up the food 30 minutes ago, and you think it would be hot? I couldn't say this all on the phone, of course.
Oh, see,
I'm not that kind of person. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, if you want to come on in down, we offer to remake it. We'll make it nice and hot for you right here, right now. And then they just proceeded to cuss me out and everything, and hang up the phone very aggressively, to where they missed, because it was a landline phone, I could tell, and they missed the dock thing. And so it's like,
yeah, that's the reason why I had to stop working in food service. Because I was like, and I've even done that to, I've unfortunately gone off on, we all go off on everybody every once in a while. And I apologize, trying to make it right. I went off on this guy, and actually it was really cool of him too. I went off on a guy on Facebook Marketplace because I was trying to sell, I forget, some cameras or something. And he asked me a question, and it was a crazy. It was does this thing support 120p or some nonsense? I said, yeah, it does. He was, oh, sorry, brother, it actually only supports 60. I'm like, actually, it supports 120. Why would you even ask me the stupid question if you already had the answer? What are you trying to do, man? And just, and so I started, we're hashing it out, and then I forget what I said, but moral of the story is, we left it at that, and then he writes back. He's like, well, anyways, hopefully you got your jollies off, or something like that. And I don't belong to this particular group that I said he did. I'm this, and I said, nah, it's cool, man. And I basically, I texted him back. I was like, yeah, that's cool. I was just, I said, I was hangry, just got home from work, blah, blah. I didn't have my food. I really appreciate you writing me back. We're all cool, man. He's like, okay, cool. And I sent him a little hugs. He sent me a hugs back. Perfect stranger, but I'm just like, yeah. It's like, and that's how it should. So your POS people that called should have had the common decency. But see, that's what I mean. Like I said in another podcast, we don't need more love. We need more common decency. Even though that happened, they should have called back and be like, "Hey, listen, dude, I'm sorry. I just like whatever. We're morons. Thanks. Whatever. I mean, like, I
never had that happen. I had that happen once.
Yeah, that's too bad.
But there was one time.
If that happened more often.
It should happen more often where people apologize. I had one person, they came in, it was closing time, they asked for an extra ranch, singular. I gave them a single ranch extra, and I get a call 10 minutes later, hey, so I just was at the restaurant, I asked for an extra ranch, and I left a sizable tip for you, and you gave me one ranch. So next time I'm there, I expect more ranch, or I will take it up with your manager. And in my brain, I'm just thinking, well, I'm sorry, sir. I didn't mean to disappoint you. I mean, if you want, my manager's right next to me. Do you want to talk to him right now? And he clicked. The phone was off. I was like, and I tell my boss, right, who's literally staying right next to me, counting out the register, and he's like, oh, well, I'm waiting to have that chat. That will be a fun chat to have.
Your employees don't give out enough ranch for good tips. Well, and actually that's why I went off on that one guy. Because, he gave all the staff these tips, like, appreciate your work and blah, blah. And then he comes back and he's expecting freebies, or I'm like, listen, I mean, I appreciate tips, I appreciate good service and all those things. But when we're doing our best and we're going 110%, and then you have the audacity to use that as leverage, your money is no longer good with me. I mean, There is a certain price we all pay. And it's not your $50 tip. No. It's not. I mean, it's far higher, and I would rather just give you back the money than have you feel like you have any leverage over us whatsoever.
See, I'm the kind of person that when that happens, I say, oh, thanks for the tip, and I just pocket it.
Right.
Or I take it into the back and everything. And then I just proceed according to the manual that I know. And then when they get upset, I'm like, I'm sorry, this is what my manager taught me to do. I can't change that. This is why I always say, there must be order.
Well, and the thing for me, tipping is not based on expecting extra performance. It's based on, hey, you're doing a good job. You're doing what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. And everything's going well and orderly. So here's a little bonus for keeping things moving along.
Yeah.
I don't expect to come back and be like, hey, I gave you a fat tip, what's up? No, that's just, hey, man, I really appreciate
That's called bribery.
Yes. I really appreciate what you're doing. You're knocking it out of the park. Thank you. That's
By the way,
all.
bribery is a criminal offense.
Yeah. But anyways, so I mean, that's what I mean. The whole common decency thing is a big deal because the more people who would actually apologize. No, I did the same thing with you and Kevin. I lost my mind on you guys. Okay, so put it into context. I lost my mind. I lost my mind on...
Oh.
So basically, I'm trying to run this show remotely, okay? And so we're all in the same room, and Nick and Kevin don't have the common decency to put on some freaking headphones because I'm trying to mix sound remotely on my headphones and have a call with the client and blah. And they're Nick's watching China Daily or whatever. All I hear is ching chong bing bong 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 bong, and like Kevin's watching freaking porn. I don't know what he's watching. He's watching something, and it's loud. The hotel room is a mush with just noise. And I'm talking to the client, and I'm on my phone, and I got my ears, my remote ears on, and I finally mute the call, and I go, I can't do nothing. I don't know what I said. I don't know what I said.
It was a scary moment.
All I know is that it became very quickly silent. It was quiet in that room for a very long time, and I was able to get the show off, and everything was great, and everything was good, and I could feel the tension coming from the beds. And I knew I'd gone off the deep end. So I, like a gentleman, I got away from the desk because, the show is on the road, we're good to go. And I went over to the bed, and I went to Nick, and I went to Kevin, and I said, hey guys, I'm really sorry. I just, needed to get that going. That was probably not the right way to handle it, but I'm sorry. You guys can totally unmute your phones now, or it's all good.
By that time, I had switched to just purely reading everything. Subtitles. There was nothing going on.
Nick is over there in Stalag 13, like, okay. Yeah, it was rough, but I mean, and I get it. Sometimes an apology is not going to fix the situation right away. But I mean, at least it needs to be said, because otherwise, just leaving it out there after you've been a bad boy is not going to fix. So yeah, that was fun, right?
It's the second time he's gone on.
I was gonna say that's the second time that Nick has been like, oh boy. The first time, okay, I know we gotta end the show, but okay. It was.
How did you know it's been 51 minutes?
It was was it 51 minutes?
Yeah.
I'm really good at this. It is impossible to do what he did. I don't know how he did it. I don't know how it's physically possible for someone to be lifting a sub and for someone else to be pushing down on the sub. And to make matters worse, it's not just like, okay, hey Nick, we just need to get these things in the van. Let's go. No. I have local police department and I have the CHP both on their horns yelling at me, clear the street, clear the street. They're actively letting traffic through. We're the last vendor there. We're trying to get our speakers in the van. We've already packed up everything else. The stage, we've got 4 road cones. We're literally, the company has closed down a lane, and Highway Patrol is not happy, and they're ready to leave. And I'm like, listen, we just got to get the speakers in the van, please. And I lost it. It's pouring rain. It was raining.
It was raining on that.
It's pouring rain. And these subs, these are the Danley TH118s. They're the big monster, inverted horn. They're awesome. And we didn't have the truck. We had the van because we wanted to be fuel economic and try to, be really, in retrospect, probably should have taken the Freightliner. It doesn't matter. The point is, just lift with me. And he couldn't figure that out. And I lost my mind. I lost my mind. And the drive home for about a good hour was silent. I was like, Nick, I'm sorry, buddy. And Nick's like, yeah, that's good, man. So anyways.
It wasn't an hour of silence.
Whatever. 30.
There were tacos.
Yeah, that's true. There were tacos.
My girlfriend brought tacos for us.
Oh, yeah, she did. Your girlfriend showed up. Mm-hmm. That's right, she did. Not for long, though.
No, she had to get back down to the Bay Area.
Of course. There's always something. Anyway.
But she got to say hi to you.
That's true.
Which
was a good thing.
You're one of the few friends that I have that has met her.
Well, there you go. Well, then I feel myself privileged. But the point is, always apologize. Don't let things go too long, because we're all gonna snap every once in a while. Just make sure you say you're sorry. And to that end, we're the SoundGuysPodcast.com. You gotta look at us up by name, the SoundGuysPodcast.com, right, Nick?
That's exactly right.
Tell us all about where to find us.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. We actually don't need light.
Oh, okay. Well, then whatever.
We're good. It's a little cool. It's a little cool color, but it's working.
It's working.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for investing this time with us, the Soundguys podcast. I am the neighborhood Nick, joined by the wonderful Crispin Smith.
Hello.
If you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never, ever, possibly miss an episode ever again in the future. Be notified immediately. And if you're listening to this on Spotify, CastBox, Apple, be quiet, Google.
I'm trying to turn it off.
Jeez, I'm trying to do a pitch
You need
right
to
now.
apologize to Google now. That was.
I'm not apologizing to Google. They got enough money. They can handle it. Go see a therapist.
Missed
they,
a
They got
call.
the stuff. Oh, that's not good. Anyway, if you're listening to Spotify, CastBox, or Apple, make sure you like us, review us, leave some comments, give us a 5-star rating, help us get up that algorithm. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for joining us today, and we'll catch you on the flip side.
Bye-bye.
Bye.